Hi friends. What do you do when your friendly neighbor suddenly stops coming outside and the family won't explain why? Who do you tell? How long do you wait to do something about it? One person did some investigating on her own to determine if there was a problem. Let me share the details because elder abuse matters. This case was emailed by a caring neighbor of the victim. Della was my next door neighbor for 18 years, and she was a lovely lady. We often chatted over the fence and sometimes had one another over for lunch and a few laughs. Della was around 86 years old last year. 5 years ago, she agreed with her family to have her 65-year-old nephew, Eddie, move in with her to help her around the house. Eddie had just retired and didn't have much money or a pension, so he got free rent and food by staying there. I'd see him take her out a couple of times a week to do banking and groceries, perhaps have a restaurant meal, and sometimes just go for a drive, which she really loved. It was okay in my mind, but perhaps he was a bit lazy. Once the pandemic started 3 years ago, the trips out stopped for Della. Not a big surprise. I never saw her around though, even in her yard. I tried to catch Eddie coming or going, but he avoided me, literally running to and from the house. That was okay at first, given that the pandemic was on, but by midsummer, things had loosened up, and by mid-2021, Della should have had the vaccine shot and been able to be around others a bit. Instead, he kept her secluded in her home. After 18 months of not seeing Della, I was quite concerned about her. I can understand keeping her away from others to avoid COVID, but Eddie should have been willing to explain it, to talk to me, to not be hiding something. Finally, one day, after much thought, I saw him leaving Della's house, so I went right over and knocked on the door. As expected, there was no answer, so I started checking windows until I found one that was unlocked and that I could slide open a bit. I yelled, calling Della's name out, and I could barely hear her respond. I asked if she needed help, and she seemed to answer yes. I went home and called the police, explaining that there was an elderly woman caught in her home. The sound of sirens was almost immediate, and I met the police to explain what I knew. They broke into Della's home and found her in night clothes, lying on a bed in her own urine and feces. She had bed sores and was very frail looking. The police had me sit with her while they asked a few questions, and we all realized that Eddie was holding Della against her will and that she needed medical attention right away. An ambulance took her to the hospital, and soon after Eddie arrived to find the police waiting for him. He was arrested and eventually charged with neglect of a senior. Apparently, he had denied her medical care and had even taken $24,000 from her bank account for personal expenses. Della was moved to a care facility and only lived another 4 months. I visited her a couple of times there, and I think she never really recovered from the neglect. Weirdly, Eddie died only 3 months after Della did, and I could never find out the cause of his death. The case was closed without ever going to trial. As much as one doesn't want to be considered the nosy neighbor, I now wish I had intervened sooner, and maybe Della would still be next door. Well, friends, I was saddened to read this email from the neighbor. Poor Della. I can't imagine being held prisoner in your own home when you need medical care and some social interaction. She must have felt emotionally abused as well as physically. And this was done by her own nephew. What do you think of Eddie's actions? Can you think of a reason for him to keep Della secluded like that? Have you heard of other seniors treated in this manner? Let us know in the comments section below. And let's hope that caring neighbors continue to watch out for our seniors, because elder abuse matters. Friends, our goal here is to share abuse cases so that you'll know that you are not alone if you are suffering from elder abuse. We hope that it's therapeutic to hear other stories, and it may also be helpful to anonymously share your own story of abuse on this channel and help others. Just check the show notes below to find out how. And finally, please like, share, and subscribe if you're finding value from watching these videos, and help grow the channel so that together we can reduce the abuse, because elder abuse matters. Please stay safe, seek help, and know that I am praying for you.